Will and Christian in the morning. Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Will and Christian in the morning. As always, I'm Christian.
I'm Will.
And welcome to 2024. I think this is the first episode we've done in the new year. So, Happy New Year, Will.
New Year.
Got any fun New Year's resolutions?
Yes, well, I don't like New Year's resolutions because I don't follow them and I feel too much pressure. So this year we all came up with achievable goals, Christian and I and some of our friends, and one of mine is to read 12 books of 12 different genres because I want to read more and broaden my horizons.
Nice.
Still on book one, but it's okay.
What book is that again?
I'm Glad My Mom Died by John McCurdy, which is really good so far.
Excellent.
Thank you, friend of the pod Abby, for letting me borrow it. And my second, maybe less likely to happen one is to visit a German-speaking country, because probably Germany, but anyways, because I still never really got a chance to study abroad, and I want to travel, and I don't know. I want to travel, and get to practice the language and everything. So, yeah. What about you?
Let's see. I think what do I want to do? I think one thing was just work out more and stuff, and focus on physical health kind of. So I'm going on, or Abby and I are both going on a detox diet that we learned about on our cruise. And I know just saying that sounds like a scam, but she said,
how many people do you have to recruit?
No. She said the science, but it made sense to her what she's learned in anatomy and chemistry and stuff. But it's basically if you have a lot of acidic foods, it clogs up something, I forget, and it basically doesn't allow the protein and stuff to go to the muscles. So then it all the stuff and nutrients go kind of to the arms and the chest, parts where you kind of can see fat growth.
Okay.
So the whole thing is a 21-day detox where it's essentially a liquid diet, and it's all very basic foods, basic as in not acidic.
Yeah.
And after the 21 days, once you flush out all of the acid in your body, and you can open up those pathways again, then if you go to a regular healthy-ish diet and good exercise, then you can start to lose fat and build muscle, because now it's sort of unblocked. So we're going to start that in February, and also do dry February, because we didn't do dry January. So I'm looking forward to that, but also it's going to be weird. We got a book, and it was just get used to the fact that you're not going to be chewing for most of this diet. And it's a lot of smoothies and soups, and all it looks good, but it's just going to be an interesting transition. But physical health, that is my New Year's resolution.
Nice.
And another thing, not necessarily a New Year's resolution, but something that I've been wanting to do for a while, and now I'm sort of getting closer this year, is every year I say I want to see all of the Oscar Best Picture nominations, and good transition, they just came out this past week. And I am now 6 out of 10. I'm about to be 7 out of 10.
For Best Picture? Or just
for Best
all
Picture.
Okay.
There's a lot of nominations, but why don't we start there?
I might try to do that as well, because I think I've seen a lot of them.
Yeah, and I think shout out AMC Stubbs A-List. No one markets that better than the users themselves. I've been able to see a lot of movies, just because it removes the sort of I kind of want to see it, but do I want to pay $17 or whatever? And now it's quote unquote free, and so that it's much easier to see it. But yeah, the Oscar nominations came out this past week, and I think it was pretty good, but there were some notable snubs that I'm sure there's been a lot of discussion about it. I think kind of the two biggest ones that I've seen were both for Barbie and Margot Robbie did not get nominated for Best Actress, and Greta Gerwig, I think that's the bigger deal. Greta Gerwig did not get nominated for Best Director.
Yeah.
And what do you, as a man, think about that?
I might have a hot take. Not that hot, but like I've seen a lot of discourse online about this, and because I know the big thing is people were upset because Ryan Gosling got nominated for Best Supporting Actor. I don't know if I would call the Margot Robbie one as much of a snub because it is a stacked category for Best Actress this year. Mm-hmm. And I think it is also a little bit like taking away from the fact that Lily Gladstone got nominated.
Yeah.
Which is like a big deal.
That was huge. Mm-hmm.
So I kind of understand, like, and personally, like, she did a really good job in the film, but I think stacked up to some of the other performances, I don't know if it was necessarily, like, needs the Oscar. I do think it's dumb that Greta didn't get nominated.
Yeah,
like, I think if anything, she should have. I'm glad that America Ferrera got nominated for supporting actress.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that Barbie got a lot of nominations. I think it has 8 nominations.
8, yes.
Including Best Picture, so that is pretty good.
I think it's the 3rd most nomination. I think the top 3 movies, obviously Oppenheimer got the most.
Yeah.
And then Poor Things, and then Barbie, I think.
But I get why people are upset, though.
Yeah. One thing that surprised me, again, about Barbie obviously got a nomination for costume design. I think that was a given.
Yeah.
But it did not get anything for makeup and hairstyling, which I'm a little surprised at. I really thought it would be there. But I think like Oppenheimer got a nomination there. I guess like Strauss, that's really the only person that I think was like good.
Yeah.
I don't know. But Best Picture nominations. So I've seen 6 out of 10. So I just saw American Fiction last night.
Oh, what'd you think?
It was really good.
Also another Boston movie.
Yeah.
It was like I saw it. I was watching it, and there's a scene where he's walking on a street that I had to walk down to get to the theater. I saw it at a local place, and I was like, wait a second, I was just there.
That was when we saw The Holdovers. There's like when they're like in Boston and they're walking through, they like walk past this place. I was like, we just walked past there to get here.
And I think
very cool.
Like I keep losing Best Picture on this site. It's like far down the page.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just a lot of movies based in Boston and Massachusetts this year. I thought there were more on the Best Picture list, but there aren't.
Yeah, I think it was just a lot of movies that were like that came out late this year. There was just a lot in a row.
Yeah. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, it was good. I mean this in like the best way possible. It was not as funny as I thought it was going to be.
That's fair.
It was a lot more serious. It was really funny, but it was a lot more serious, and it was just very like kind of unexpected. But it was really good.
Yeah.
But I saw American Fiction. I saw Barbie, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and after recording this, we're going to go see Zone of Interest, which I am excited for, and I'm sure you are excited for because it is in German.
Maybe I should just cover up the subtitles.
See how much you can get from it.
Yeah, I think I've seen the same amount, but I've seen different ones. I saw American Fiction, Barbie, Holdovers. Have not seen Killers of the Flower Moon yet. Or Maestro. I know Maestro's on Is that like on Netflix?
It is on Netflix. And I think Killers of the Flower Moon is now on Apple TV. Okay. It was like an Apple TV, or like an Apple movie, so I think it's on Apple TV.
Okay. Saw Oppenheimer. I did see Past Lives, which I really enjoyed that movie, although it's really sad.
I'm excited to see it.
And then Poor Things, and then today. So I guess I just have a few more to watch, which I might try to do that as well. When are the Oscars? I should know this. Like March
16th, I think.
And do we know who's hosting?
I knew it, but I forget who it is now.
We do a lot of research. Jimmy Kimmel.
I hate Jimmy Kimmel. But yeah, Oscars were pretty. I don't know what Naiad is, but it got several nominations, and including actress in a leading role. I had never heard of that until now, and that always feels weird when it's like you don't even know a movie exists until the nominations come out. I am a little. I've seen some people mad that Across the Spider-Verse obviously was nominated for Best Animated Feature, which stacked category this year, I think. The Boy and the Heron, Elemental, Nimona, very happy to see that there. To watch that. And I have not seen Robot Dreams. But Across Spider-Verse was there, obviously. I was really hoping it would get like at least one other nomination, preferably Best Original Song for Am I Dreaming? I've seen a lot of people call that a snub.
Yeah, there was a lot of good music.
And I think it's interesting going back to like, you know, Greta and Margot didn't get nominated, but Ryan Gosling did. And I'm Just Ken also got nominated for Best Original Song. And some people were like, that was a joke song. That shouldn't have been nominated. So I think that's interesting that I'm Just Ken and What Was I Made For were both nominated for Best Original Song.
What were your thoughts on the Barbie snubs?
I definitely agree that Greta Gerwig should have been nominated. And I personally think Margot Robbie deserves a nomination because I feel like she kind of like sells the movie and the concept, and I think it's like very interesting. And I think it was an Actors on Actors when she was talking about Barbie, like how in the beginning she was like playing it as like I'm not thinking of anything, and just very like blank-minded, and then as the movie progressed she like plays more and more into like I'm thinking of like now everything and like emotions and stuff. And I think that like I think she did a great job, but I also agree with you that a lot of people are mad about Margot Robbie not being nominated, and they're kind of glossing over the fact that Lily Gladstone is the first Native American actress to be nominated like ever, I think. And I think if like Margot Robbie was nominated, I would still pick Lily Gladstone. I think she definitely deserves to win.
That's fair. Okay, I could. I think.
Yeah. So,
but before we talk more, I saw this on TikTok the other day because you were talking about animated movies. I didn't realize how stacked 2009 was, because it was it was a clip of they like from each movie they animated a little scene of like them being interviewed about like, what it would be like to get an Oscar. Funny. And it the nominees were Up, which won, Coraline, Fantastic Mr. Fox, Princess and the Frog, and The Secret of Kells, which I've never heard of. But like those are movies that a lot of people love, and like I feel like a lot of years
wasn't animated Up nominated for Best Picture too?
Let me see.
I think there have only been 3 movies nominated for Best Picture, like not Best Animated Feature, but Best Picture. And I believe it was Up, Toy Story 3, and Beauty and the Beast.
It was
the original Beauty and the Beast, not the new one.
Avatar was also nominated for Best Picture.
Or maybe it won. Did it win?
No. It was
Avatar doesn't count as
Hurt
animated.
Locker. Won for Best. Or for Best Picture. Anyway,
Avatar isn't an animated movie.
But yeah, I still need to watch Nimona.
It's so good.
I hope Spider-Verse wins, but I also like the Elemental.
Yeah, I think Spider-Verse is kind of a shoe-in. Like I think all these other movies, unless like Boy and the Heron wins, but I think that I feel pretty confident that Across the Spider-Verse will win.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited to see what comes out of this. Speaking of awards, before the Oscar nominations came out, we had the Golden Globes Awards, and there was some controversy with this host. Again, talking about Barbie. So if you guys don't know, if you've been living under a rock, because everybody's been talking about it, Joe Coy, which I didn't know who he was, but he's a comedian.
I had never heard of him.
I think he's like a Filipino comedian, and I've heard Filipino people talk about how much they hate him.
Okay.
So I think that's probably an indication that he's not that great. But the basic premise of everything was that he made some not so great jokes about Barbie, Margot Robbie, and Taylor Swift too, I think.
I think so, yeah.
But he was talking about Oppenheimer and Barbie together, you know, the whole Barbenheimer thing. And he was like, you know, Oppenheimer was based on this, you know, huge novel about the atomic bomb and the moral implications. And Barbie was based on a doll with big boobies.
Yeah.
And This is a separate thing. Like, first of all, stupid joke, not funny, bad.
Didn't laugh.
Didn't laugh. Second of all, this is like a separate thing. Barbie is going back to the Oscars. Barbie is nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay.
Yeah, that's kind of weird, isn't it?
Because it's not it's not based on like a book or a pre-existing. It's just the concept of Barbie dolls.
True,
like it's an original story and everything. Like if it was based on like Barbie Swan Lake or Barbie Princess and the Pop Star or something, that's different. But
I don't think it'd be getting nominated for Best Picture if it was.
But like that's a separate thing. I think that's dumb. I think it should be for original screenplay. But yeah, not good jokes. And then he also made a dig about Taylor Swift in the NFL. I forget exactly what he said. I think it was just like, what's the difference between like the Golden Globes and the NFL? The Golden Globes don't show Taylor Swift as much. And then it like cut to her and she just like had like a very slight annoyed look and took a sip of her drink. And now everyone's like, oh my God, she's overreacting. Like learn to take a joke or something. But then when Ryan Gosling reacted poorly to the Barbie joke, everyone's like, yeah, good for you, Ryan Gosling. It's just like the double standard is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It's like, relax.
Why was Taylor Swift at the Golden Globes?
Probably for like it was for the Eras Tour movie. Because I was nominated for that stupid like cinematic achievement award, which is just like the one that wouldn't get nominated for any awards but made a lot of money. Like I think the Mario movie was also in there. So I think that's why she was there. But it like
also wait, let me double check that I'm correct on this. We forgot the biggest snub of all time at the Oscars. No Peaches.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Not nominated for.
I remember. Yeah,
song.
everybody was really, really going for that. Like I'm Just Canada and Peaches being nominated. I think Peaches got a Golden Globe nomination, I believe, but it did not get an Oscar nomination.
I'm just realizing, like, I think one of the original songs is from that weird Disney Plus movie about Cheetos.
Wait a second. The Fire and oh my God,
Flamin' Hot.
You're
Isn't
right.
That, like about Cheetos. I would just see like on Disney Plus the ad, like.
I thought that was just an ad, like a commercial for Cheetos. What? Oh my God, that's so weird. That's weird.
Anyway, the big snub for the Mario movie.
Yeah.
Also not nominated for Best Animated Feature.
No, that was. I mean, I feel like I kind of expected that, but
and no Wish either.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Yeah. So
Golden Globes, Joe Coy,
award stuff. Yeah. So in other news, this was kind of a big deal. The Wizards of Waverly Place is getting a reboot. So David Henry, who played Justin in the original show, and Selena Gomez both shared a little picture of the screenplay with the title, and they announced, they're coming back. I believe the plot, if I read this right, is it's after Justin at the end of the show. Spoiler.
Yeah, I don't remember what happened.
So I think he wins the wizard tournament or whatever. Or I think Alex wins
or whatever.
Yeah, I think Alex wins, but then lets Justin have it or something. I forget. But Justin he won the wizard thing and he got to keep his wizard powers because he won. And then this show takes place when he has kids and he's given up his wizard powers to have a family. But then these other kids come in who are young wizards and seek training, and now he has to train them or something. I forget. Okay. But that is the basic premise. I don't think, obviously, we don't really need another one of these reboots, but what do you think?
I mean, it seems like they're excited about it, which is good. In the same way that when they did the iCarly reboot, which was kind of meh, but I don't know. It seems unnecessary. Mm-hmm. I'll still watch it. Yeah. But I'm just already imagining the reimagined theme song that is always worse than the original. And I don't know. We'll see. But I also just saw a leak for like a Fairly Odd Parents reboot.
I also saw that.
So I don't know what's going on.
That looks
like,
weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I heard the theme song, which that theme song I thought was cool,
that was
like fun. A cool reinterpretation. But then I heard like Wanda and Cosmo say like the wands and wings floaty crowdy thing, and I'm like, that does not sound like Cosmo. Yeah. Like, oh my god, he sounds terrible. But then I think like in the actual show, it like sounded more like him. But also, where do they get this footage?
Like, I don't know. It looked like someone like ripped it off of like the editing software.
Very interesting.
But yeah, I don't know. It could be good. I would like to. I need to see a trailer, I guess, before I judge it.
But I think this is like the. Didn't they already do? Yeah, they already did like a live action Fairly Odd Parents reboot.
Like 3 times.
Yeah, they did like the movies with Drake Bell, and then they did like another show with like Timmy's kid or something, or his like niece. Or something.
Well,
that
was
like
brought like his cousin in or something.
Yeah,
the dog. But I just remembering the memes where it's like, I wish I was Drake Bell, and then it's like prison bars coming.
Oh yeah, that was a great show, but we've grown apart from the need for more Fairly Odd Parents.
It is weird that we're getting to the point where we're old enough that the stuff that we watched is getting rebooted. Because, like, I guess there was, like, the Proud Family reboot, which I feel like was a little bit before us. Like, they were still showing it, but we were pretty young. And, like, the Raven, That's So Raven one.
Yeah, but, like, before that, they had, like, Fuller House and Girl Meets World. Like,
That's
they're
true.
Rebooting, like, the 90s shows.
Yeah.
But now we're getting to the point where, like, our, like, early 2000s shows are being rebooted.
Do you think Miley would ever come back for a Hannah Montana?
Oh god, I doubt it. Like I was surprised that Selena Gomez is doing a Wizards reboot. Honestly,
fair.
Honestly, one reboot I think would be good. I've been thinking about this. I think there should be a Glee reboot, but
Glee boot.
That's exactly #Glee boot. Like that would be like instant. Good marketing, but not in like a what are like the original cast doing, but I think just like do Glee with like all new people, but just an excuse to like do modern day songs.
Yeah.
Like they did like one Taylor Swift song in the entire show. That was like the director's biggest regret was not doing more Taylor Swift songs. You got Taylor Swift, you got Olivia Rodrigo, Harry Styles, and you have so many good choices. I think if they like said, because like, so I've been watching Glee. We're almost done. I think we're just about done with season 5. It's like, it was a good show, like with good, well-written characters. And I think if you do that again with new, well-written characters, but then you can also do like songs and stuff. Maybe some of the original cast can come back every so often.
Yeah.
Every so often, not like all the time. I think it could be good. And I think it would like bring it to like a new generation where they can appreciate it, and it wouldn't be like as sellout-y as some of these other reboots. That's my idea. Disney, if you're listening.
Did you ever watch Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist?
No, I know you recommended it.
I think that's like, well, it's not really like Glee, but it is a fun, like it's a nice way to get modern songs into a show like in the Glee style. But that also isn't around anymore. So, but no, that would be cool. I need to watch Glee at some point because I think I used to watch like a little bit when my sister did when I was younger, but like I never really got into it.
Yeah, but we'll see. So moving away from pre-show news, before we get into our main topic, I want to give Will a bit of a platform. So Wonka.
Yes.
It has been divisive, I think I could say. I haven't seen it. But a lot of people have seen it. One review that sticks out in my mind. Somebody said it's not good enough to be good, it's not bad enough to be bad, and it's not interesting enough to be interesting. And I was like, what is this movie? This is going to be so weird. We don't need this. But then Will saw it, and he loved it.
Yes.
So I want you, in the style of our, when we used to do like the why you should watch whatever things, I want you to tell me, because I have not seen it. convince me to watch Wonka. Why do you love it so much?
Okay. Well, I'll tell my Wonka story because I thought this movie was going to suck.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I saw the trailer. Well, when they first announced it, I thought it was going to be like a dark, gritty reboot.
Really?
Because Willy Wonka's like kind of screwed up. Like he's got a weird, creepy side to him.
He does.
And I was like, oh, that'd be kind of cool to like explore. But then the trailer came out, and it just looked so cheesy and stupid. I remember there was like Keegan-Michael Key is in the movie, and there's a line in the trailer where he's like, nothing to see here, just some people defying the laws of gravity. And I'm like, that's annoying. I don't like that. Mm-hmm. But I heard it was a musical, and I'm like, okay, well, it's a musical, so I gotta give it a shot. Mm-hmm. Worst case, this is just a dumb movie I can make fun of. So, friend of the pod, Stephanie, and my roommate, and I and a couple other people went and saw it, and it won us all over. Like, we left the theater going, like, I thought I was gonna hate that, and I loved it. And here's the thing, I don't think it's an amazing movie. Like, plot-wise, it's nothing fantastic. It's not Oscar worthy. No. Well, no. Obviously, because it didn't get any nominations. But it's just so wholesome, and it feels like there was a lot of love put into it. It's directed by the same person who directed the Paddington movies, which I haven't seen, but I know everyone gushes over those, saying like how cute they are. Yeah. If I could compare this to another movie, I would compare it to The Greatest Showman, which is weird because I don't like that movie.
Really?
I'm not a big Greatest Showman fan.
Okay.
I think the songs are fine, but I think the plot is dumb. Yeah. But I think it's that kind of style of movie where it's like, it's movie musical. Like I don't think I would ever see Wonka going to Broadway. Yeah. But it's still like well put together music, and I think one of the things I like the best about it is it like respected the source material of the original Willy Wonka movie, which I love and grew up watching a lot.
Like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory with Gene Wilder?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, there's no references to the Johnny Depp version. But I also do like that movie. But I don't know, like, oh, and all the trailers, like Timothée Chalamet just seemed so cringy and cheesy, which there's a little bit of that. Yeah. But you kind of just have to give in to the cheesiness and like let it take you. Yeah. And the act. Do you know anything like what the plot is?
No.
So the plot is that Willy Wonka, who I think is like 19, is
builds a chocolate factory.
No. Comes to a new city where he like wants to sell his chocolate, but there is a chocolate cartel of like all the famous chocolate makers that kind of make it impossible to start a business.
Interesting.
And this is not a spoiler, but at the beginning of the movie, he kind of ends up becoming an indentured servant because he like at a like laundry place, and then he meets all these like other people who've gotten stuck working there, and basically the whole movie is him trying to sell his chocolate and like get his friends free. And I don't know, like there's a bunch of Easter eggs and callbacks to the original without being like super fan servicey. Like there's a scene at the beginning where Timothée Chalamet's singing and he walks down the stairs, and then he does the Gene Wilder thing where he like walks back up backwards and then back down, and like he has the cane that stands in place, and I don't know, it's just like it feels like there was a lot of like they looked back to the original a lot, and there's a lot of like callbacks that I didn't even realize. Like there's a scene where he drops his last like coin that he has accidentally into a sewer grate, and I saw someone say that that's the coin that in the original movie Charlie like finds that coin to buy the chocolate bar that has the golden ticket, and the laundry place that Willy Wonka like gets stuck working at is the candy store at the beginning of the original. So like there's some fun cute things, and one of my favorite bits is like in the original it's kind of not clear where it's taking place, because there's people with American accents, people with British accents. There's signs that are in like German and Spanish, so it's like some sort of European country, but it's not clear. And they do the same thing. Like there's a scene where they go to the zoo and there's signs in German, and there's another thing with like in a different language, and so I like just the little touches like that. And then the actual music itself, I really liked. It also sounds like the original. Like, there's one song that reminds me of the like I've got a golden ticket. It's the like the chocolate.
Yeah.
And Timothy's a good singer. I mean, he definitely probably got auto-tuned a bit, but it's not like Emma Watson, Beauty and the Beast level. It's a little too long. Probably there's bits they could have cut out, but like I don't know. It's just like hammy, cheesy, campy fun.
I like ham and cheese.
Yeah. Hugh Grant plays the Oompa Loompa, who's not in the movie very much, despite how much he was in the advertising.
Yeah.
But he was really good. I don't know. Like, I'm struggling to express why I love this movie so much, but I saw it. I dragged my mom to go see it when I went home for Christmas, and she ended up really liking it too. I don't know. Like, I feel like there's not a lot of just feel good movies right now, and it was just start to finish a very feel good movie, and the songs just got stuck in my head. Like, our apartment was a Wonka house for a while. Like, we were just singing the songs all the time. So I don't know. It's not like a 10 out of 10 movie, but in my heart, it's a 10 out of 10.
Okay. All right. You know, if it, I don't think it's still in theaters. If it drops,
it still is in some places, I think.
Maybe I'll check it out. If it like drops on like Netflix or something, then I think I'll check it out.
And it made me want to eat chocolate after.
That's good. So there's actually a reason why I asked you to specifically defend this movie, not just because I know you like it, and there are a lot of people who didn't like it, but something interesting about this movie. It's a musical, like you said, but if you watched any of the trailers, you wouldn't have known that.
Yes.
Which is, it's interesting, because they didn't really market it as a musical, even though it so very clearly was. The same way another movie was similarly marketed not as a musical despite it being a musical, and that is Mean Girls, the movie, the musical, the movie. And that's going to bring us into our main topic, which is movie musicals / musical movies, whatever you want to call it. But now I did see Mean Girls. I haven't seen like or listened to the Broadway soundtrack really. I've heard like a little bit, like, you know, things on TikTok and stuff. But this movie was mid.
Yes.
I think is the best thing to say. I liked. Let's start with things that we liked. I liked. Obviously, I think Renee Rapp was very good. I thought overall the casting was pretty good. I thought, you know, Angourie Rice, not a very well trained singer, but acting wise, I thought she kind of nailed it.
Yeah.
I think Damien and Janice were both fantastic casting, and they're both great singers, obviously. Renee Rapp was good. I thought I liked Gretchen and Karen. I thought Karen was like the star of the show, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it was like we definitely didn't need like a Mean Girls remake like this early. It has not been long enough.
Well, it's been 20 years.
I still don't think it's been long. I don't know. It feels like it came out more recently. But
right?
I really liked how they took the Mean Girls story and set it in like a modern day high school with like cell phones and social media and everything. And I think that is like it's an interesting way to tell the story. But so I liked that, like plot wise, you know, it's just Mean Girls, so it's fine, whatever. But I thought it was kind of clever, like kind of the things that they did with it, like how you know, Regina like falls over and now she's like TikTok famous, and like Megan Thee Stallion is like, who is this? Like, I don't know who this is, but like this is funny. Like the fact that like any like random thing can just blow up on social media and suddenly everybody knows who you are.
Yeah.
And I think that's cool. But honestly, and I think you'll agree, the low point, what made this movie so like mid for me was the music. And I think that's the most frustrating part. And we've talked about this a little. I think that the music is great in the original show, and they transformed it from like this sort of like rock Broadway feel to like a TikTok pop hip hop feel.
Yeah.
And I hated it.
I agree. I ended up going back and listening to the Broadway one and being like, wow, this just sounds so much better. And it's interesting. I feel like the actors did not sing to those backings because I listened to I sent it to you guys. It was a video of Revenge Party, but with the Broadway backing and the movie thing. And it sounds like Ali Carvalho was like singing to the Broadway one because it like it fits more with that than the like marching band sound or whatever that was in the I don't know, like it all sounds like temp music in the back, like they weren't finished recording it, or they made it in like GarageBand or something.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of those where they take the vocals from this movie because the vocals are not longer than like "Stupid with Love" or something like that.
Yeah,
the vocals are great. Just put it with the Broadway instrumentals and it sounds great. I think the best song by far was "Sexy."
I agree.
I know some people like didn't love what they did with it instrumentally, but I think that was the least egregious, and I think that was my favorite. I think like Avantika was fantastic. She was great as Karen, and she was a really good singer too. And I feel like that sort of like TikTok hip hoppy kind of thing worked for it. And I thought it was really good.
Yeah, and like it takes place at a party, which makes sense. Like after you hear all that.
Yeah.
No, I think that was the best one transitioned over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought most of the songs were like the actual singing sounded good besides "Stupid with Love." And maybe like that last song I didn't care about that much. The final one.
Yeah.
I don't remember how much of it is like a shot for shot remake because I haven't watched the original in a while. Because I could see that being a complaint, and I do feel like they gave away most of the good jokes in the trailer.
The jokes from like the original movie.
Yeah. But it was, I thought it was like decently fun. Like I had a good time watching it.
Yeah.
And there is, well, I won't spoil it, but there is a really cool cameo in the movie.
That was cool. I did like that.
Which I was not expecting at all.
No, yeah. I think I got spoiled on that, but it was definitely like, I'm like, oh, okay, it like is cool and it kind of makes sense, and they like make a little joke out of it too.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's cool. I think like the biggest problem with the music, other than the re-instrumental, like the reorchestrations and stuff, obviously the main reason they made this movie was so people could stream a official recording of the Mean Girls soundtrack with Renee Rapp. And I think that, and like everybody was like hyping up, like, oh my God, we're going to get World Burn with Renee Rapp. I'm so excited. Even that was like a little underwhelming. Like it was good. Yeah. But like, I think if they treated the rest of the cast with like the same respect as they did for Renee Rapp in terms of like, this is what everyone's listening for, I think it would have been a lot better.
Yeah. And I think this was originally going to be not even in theaters. It was going to be like a Paramount Plus.
Yeah. But
exclusive.
Test audiences loved it so much that they're like, we have to put it in.
I think that was a good move because it seems like it's been doing well.
It has been doing well.
We have our Stephanie bought a Mean Girls popcorn bucket.
Yes,
and Abby got the Burn book.
The Burn book, yeah.
So that's kind of fun. I regret not getting the Wonka hat popcorn bucket. But it's okay. I wouldn't have used it anyway.
Yeah. But another thing, for Someone Gets Hurt, the one that Regina sings at the party with Aaron. By the way, I didn't like Aaron. I feel like he was just very like bland. Whatever. But Someone Gets Hurt sounded like a Renee Rapp song and not like a Mean Girls song.
Yeah.
Which I think kind of proves the point that we're making, that the reorchestrations are trying to like make it sound more modern. Like it sounded good, but I'm like, this I feel like I'm not watching Mean Girls. I feel like I'm watching a Renee Rapp music video.
Yeah.
Which
I heard that, no, I don't know if this is true, but originally they were trying to get Sadie Sink to play Katie, but like she couldn't because of scheduling stuff. I feel like that would have been really interesting.
Yeah. I personally would have casted Sabrina Carpenter, who got to play Katie on Broadway for 2 days, and then COVID hit. And like Sabrina Carpenter and Renee Rapp are both like having their moment right now, so I think that would have been a really great move. And like we know Sabrina Carpenter's a good actress, and she is definitely a much better singer than Angourie Rice.
What has she been in?
Well, like acting wise,
Yeah.
Girl Meets World.
Oh, I didn't know she was. I just thought she was a singer.
I know.
This is like the Dove Cameron effect for me. I
Yeah.
get them mixed up. And
She
I never
was,
knew Dove Cameron was like a Disney
She was
star.
the girl in Milo Murphy's Law. If you
Okay.
watched
Oh,
that.
okay.
But like now she's basically just a singer. But she was like the Disney. She is going through the Disney sitcom star to like
Adult.
kind of like risque adult musician.
Yeah.
And like I think she's doing well with it. And you know she's great. But everyone's talking about like, oh, give Renee Rapp a chance. Like Renee Rapp that had her chance. Give her it. She did not have a chance. And like one person like illegally recorded audio from like one of her 2 shows, and if they didn't do that, like we would have had no idea like what she would have sounded like, and she sounded good.
Have you ever seen the Cameron Dallas clips from Broadway?
Yeah.
So for anyone who doesn't know, because I didn't know who he was, Cameron Dallas is like a Instagram or TikTok or some sort of influencer. Maybe he was big on Vine, I don't know. But they like did a stunt cast for a month when one of the actors was out, and they brought him in on Broadway to play Aaron, and he was horrible.
Yeah.
There's recordings online, and he is not whatever. This sounds mean, but he should not have been cast.
No,
he's not a great singer. Also, I forgot a couple thoughts about Wonka. I'd like to revise really quickly.
Okay,
it's related to Mean Girls.
Okay,
because,
no, you're good.
I always hate with these musical movies, they cut so many songs. And now I understand you can't put every song in because it'd be a long movie, and the general audiences already don't like musicals. But there were a lot of good songs that they cut. They cut out the Karen and Gretchen parts from Meet the Plastics, which would have been nice. There were some other songs that... Oh, they changed the opening number to a worse opening number.
What, Cautionary Tale?
No, sorry. It Roars got changed to like What Ifs.
Oh,
whatever.
yeah.
It wasn't as good. One thing I realized about Wonka, there were so many songs in that movie. It had like 10 songs or something, like including reprises and stuff. But there was a lot of music, and it didn't feel like it was too much, which I liked. And I forgot, they used Pure Imagination in the movie, and I was expecting like, oh, they're going to ruin this song. It's going to suck.
I did see a clip of that.
And it was good. So anyway, that's...
I don't think this is really a spoiler, but like I did see like a clip of that, how like it starts out with like a very back and forth, like, come with me, okay.
I don't like that part.
We'll be where?
But the actual recording, I like. I don't like how the
that reminds me of like that one sketch from like the Tonight Show where like Jimmy Fallon's singing and like there's been like Will Ferrell or Andy Samberg like heckling him, and just like he'd sing Don't Stop Believing. It's like, just a small town girl, where is she from? It reminded me of that.
There's also did you and Abby end up seeing Parade on Broadway or no?
Yes.
So
oh my god,
I know the recording, we're going on a tangent, but
we're talking about music.
This is not over yet. That song, I love that song. Yeah, the recording's great. I saw like a clip that someone recorded illegally from the show, and the like guard or whatever in the prison keeps interrupting him during that song, and I was like, shut up, let it sing.
Actually, you brought that up about the recording. I've seen a lot of people say that like the recording of that song specifically is like, it's so like overproduced on the soundtrack, and I've heard people complain that like it doesn't sound as good. Which I like kind of agree, I guess, because like I saw it live versus the recording. Like I still think it's good, but I don't know, it was just an interesting thing that I thought of.
It is weird that studios are trying to like trick these people into seeing these musicals, because I guess although I don't know how much the general public doesn't like musicals. Like I feel like people come to see these movies. But
that's what I wanted to talk about today, because I actually saw this like YouTube video, like a video essay the other day, and it was about like talking about Wonka and Mean Girls and how like they weren't marketed as musicals even though they were musicals, and they, the girl making the video, she's like, why do people dislike musicals so much? We used to love them. And then, like, she was talking about, like, the history of, like, the golden age of musical movies, like Singing in the Rain and all that.
Yeah.
And they like used to release them all the time. And it was like, during the Great Depression, they need something to cheer them up during wartime and stuff. So they released like a lot of musicals.
Wonka would have killed during the Great Depression. All I'm saying.
I don't think Mean Girls would have killed during the Great Depression. But it was interesting because like nowadays, it seems like they were talking about like the Les Mis movie.
Which is coming back to theaters.
It is coming back to theaters, and we're going to see it. I'm very excited because I have never seen it.
Really?
No, I haven't.
I like it. I'm also not the biggest Les Mis fan.
Oh,
which is I know is a hot take. But,
but the thing that she pointed out was Anne Hathaway's one of her songs when she's like dying or something.
Dream,
yeah. She sang it. She was like, I shouldn't be singing this super well because I'm dying.
Yeah.
And then so you can like sometimes like not really understand what song she's singing or like what she's saying because she's like dying, right? And that was a choice for her, and she's like, even though this is a musical, I'm choosing to like play into the realism, even though I'm like breaking out in the song on my deathbed. And that was sort of the interesting thing that she was talking about. It's like how people nowadays are more interested in like realism in their movies instead of like people randomly breaking out into song. That's like, people don't do that, like I don't care kind of thing. And you think about like even unrealistic things like Marvel movies, for example, even though they have like the fantastical magic and machinery and all that, there's always some sort of like scientific explanation that they try to give. Like they go back in time in Endgame, but they take the time to explain like how it's working scientifically, so you're like buying into like, okay, like if this was possible, like that could happen, that's realistic. And I think it's interesting that like something maybe people don't like musicals as much anymore, musical movies at least, because they're like, this is people don't break out into song randomly. It's different when you're like seeing on a stage. Like you're like, okay, like that's a performance because you are on stage, I'm in the audience. But in a movie, you're just watching the screen, all these different things are happening, and you're like, I'm trying to buy into like this story. And like if you randomly break out into song, like what are you doing? That's like, people don't do that. Which is, it's so interesting. And like I love musicals in musical movies and stuff. But it's interesting that the main thing that's weird is that they keep doing it even though they know people don't like them, and just like not telling them that they're musicals.
And I'm going back to Wonka for one
second.
Go ahead. The thoughts are coming to me. I think one of the reasons it worked is because they kind of made this timeless world. It's not really set in like a modern time or a real place, and it's sort of a semi-fantastical world, so it doesn't feel out of place when people start singing. It feels like there is a funny scene where he's singing at the beginning of the movie, and then he gets fined by a cop because there's a sign that says "No daydreaming," and he's imagining his chocolate shop. So it doesn't feel as jarring when someone starts just randomly singing.
And I think that's like it seems like that's a big problem for a lot of people, is that it seems jarring, and people want like grit and realism. But like,
I want more grittiness in my music.
Yeah, I think like if you're going to the movies, it's like an escape from reality. So if there's like some fantastical concept, like lean into it, kind of thing.
What does that well? La La Land.
I was just about to mention that because no, we're on the same wavelength. This is good. I think La La Land does like, and it's like part of the story, the balance between the fantastical elements and the realism. And it's just like whenever they break out in a song, like the very first number, Another Day of Sun, they're on the highway in LA, stuck in traffic. And they like just randomly get out of their cars and like do a dance routine and everything. And then after they sing the song and everything, they're like jumping on cars and all that. And then they just get back into their cars and then continue honking and stuff. Interesting thing that I just learned recently. that number was originally not in the movie, and it just started like with like, you know, Ryan Gosling in the car or whatever. And then when they got to the number at the party, like when they're getting ready for the party, people were like, "Oh, I didn't know this was a musical." So then they started with Another Day of Sun. So right away you're like, "Yeah, this is a musical." But like another example, when Mia's at the party and she's singing Somewhere in the Crowd, and at the very end everyone's like dancing and jumping into the pool and everything, there's fireworks and everything as the number's ending, and like the on the button, like as soon as it ends, it cuts to Mia's car got towed. So like as soon as the fantastical element of the music is done, you're like smacked back into reality. And I think that balance does it really well. Like my brother does not like La La Land. And when they did the number in the observatory and they're like floating and all that, he like watched it with his girlfriend at the time, and she was like getting emotional, and he just like started laughing. He was like, "This is ridiculous." But I'm like, that's the point. It's supposed to be like this fantastical, you know, world while the music is going on. But when there's no music, then you're like, it's the realism. Like, I'm an actor, I can't get a job. I'm a musician, I can't get a job, kind of thing. Yeah. And I think that's the great thing about it. It like harkens back to the classic movie musicals, but also has that realism. And I think that's why I've really loved it so much.
I think another problem is that some of these recent movie musicals are shot like normal movies, which does not help. Like, I feel like for the most part, Mean Girls was kind of just shot like a comedy, and there's a lot of the musical sequences are like in hallways, and it looks like they're like filming a lip dub for high school, which I guess fits because they're in a high school. But I'm just thinking of Revenge Party, which I did Revenge Party, like the set and stuff that they did for that, but it is just a lot of like people running down the hall, and like it's not. I guess Apex Predator was kind of creative. I liked that with the animals, but...
and I did like Someone Gets Hurt. I thought it was like a very kind of creepy, and how she like was moving all the parts. Like that's cool.
Yeah, and those scenes are pretty good, but then just the non-music scenes are just like a regular movie.
It's just Mean Girls.
Yeah, so it's kind of weird when it's like, here's this dance number.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think they need to like kind of balance it out better. Yeah. But yeah, you know, I think like music in movies, like these musical... I don't know. I feel like I want to try to establish a difference between a movie musical and a musical movie. I feel like a movie musical is like La La Land, like The Greatest Showman kind of thing, where like or Wonka, where music is kind of like integral to it. Whereas like Trolls, I think, is a musical movie. Like they've been very successful, and obviously like music is very like integral to the thing, but it's like, you know, at the end of the day, they're just singing fun songs and stuff. Yeah. And I like those are successful because I think like those are successful because it's just like a movie that has songs in it rather than a musical. I think. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. And I feel like people will buy more into, you know, this is just a movie, but then they're also singing like a Justin Timberlake song rather than this number. They like sing a song that has like choreography and like moves the plot and things like that.
That's why I think like jukebox musicals are so popular, because they're more accessible. And I know. People know the songs going in, and they're not musical theater-y.
Yeah, I do not like jukebox musicals, but like I think that is indicative of like why people don't really buy into like these movie musicals. Is, you know, they like when they like know what they're doing, and they're like, oh, it's clever how they sang "Hit Me Baby One More Time" and, you know, Romeo and Juliet or whatever. I'm like, whatever. Mm-hmm. It feels forced, but I think people like that because they like know what to expect, and it's like in a way realistic because they like know what's coming. I don't know.
I just saw there's a Huey Lewis in the News musical.
I did see that.
But another thing is people, it happens every time. People are like, this movie sounds so auto-tuned. This movie the music sounds bad. And I liked some of the singing. Some of the singing was still in Mean Girls a little overproduced, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Sexy, if you just listen to like the isolated
vocals.
Yeah.
It sounds like it is like she did like the sex. All right, like take a sip of water. All right, take two, and then they do the next part, and then it sounds like they like three separate takes at three separate times instead of just one like consistent thing.
There's a part of, I think, either Revenge Party or Stupid with Love where it sounds like there's a very clear cut where they did a different take after, and it's so clear. I like, people complain about the Les Mis movie, but I kind of like that they recorded the music live, and I like that there are imperfections. Like, either stop making the people who can't sing, like hire like people to dub like they used to do, or like allow there to be some imperfections, because then it just sounds more, it's more realistic and like sounds more natural.
Yeah, or even with like, if you're going to use studio vocals, I like when they like still actually sing the music live, so like the lip sync, it looks better. Yeah, like that's something Rachel Zegler really wanted to do for the Hunger Games movie. She's like, I want to sing live so it like looks like I'm singing instead of just like like bad lip sync. And I feel like there was definitely some bad lip syncing. I
think Renee Rapp was one of the bad lip syncers.
Yeah, and it's like you know, she's just standing there like so meh. It looks like she's saying so meh, but she's like screaming like top of her lungs and like sound. It's like, it doesn't look like you're singing that big. Yeah. And that for me like takes it out. Although, like, it doesn't seem as powerful. Yeah.
I'm realizing now there are some differences, I think, between the soundtrack and the movie, because I keep seeing clips where, because the infamous
I can't even
watch. Like, that sounds so bad in the recording, but I saw like a clip someone filmed in the theater, and it sounds a little better.
Yeah. Another thing, like at the end when she's singing "I See Stars," like I've seen a lot of people be like, "Oh, she actually sounds like good towards the end of it." It's not her. Yeah, it's a different singer.
So I agree. I think she was a good actress in the movie. She also looks a lot like Jenna Fisher. Like, I couldn't believe that she's Jenna Fisher's daughter. But I think they just should have had someone else sing.
I think so. Like Sabrina Carpenter, I think would have been great. Also, or like Sadie Sink can sing.
I think it is funny listening to some of the recordings to like close your eyes when Janice is singing and imagine that it's Moana singing those songs. Yeah, I think it's so funny. But we were actually just watching Moana last night, Stephanie and I, and I forgot, like, her voice sounds so different now than it did, because I forgot how long ago that movie was. It's like almost 10 years now. Oh my god, it was 2016. Yeah. Wow.
But like, you know, Ali Carvalho can sing. I forget his name. Jekyll, whoever, I forget his last name. Yeah. Like, he's plucked straight from Broadway. Like, he can sing. You know, I think if you're making a musical movie, get people who you know can sing. I think I saw people saying like, they were like, Angourie Rice is a Nepo baby. I have no evidence to back this up, but I can just feel that she's a Nepo baby. And like, if I didn't know any better, I would have suspected it, because she was clearly like the worst singer of the main cast. So it's like, why didn't you get like a good singer? I don't know. I'm rambling, I'm ranting, but like it was. But I think just the most frustrating thing about it was that the music is what pulled it down. But like for some people like me, the main reason I went to see this movie was for the music, and that was like the worst part for me. Yeah, which sucks. But yeah, I think they need to either. I don't want to say stop making musical movies.
No, I like watch them, and I still recommend people watch Mean Girls, because I maybe don't pay for it.
Yeah, but I think they need to like be more honest in their marketing, because so people know what to expect.
I think they underestimate because like Wonka killed it as well. It made like it passed like 500 million at some point recently. Like, people are going to see it and enjoying it. Yeah. And I think they still would have if the trailers had music in them.
Yeah. I think they kind of underestimate like how much a big group of people do like musicals. I think they're just so scared. Like, these execs in their like boardrooms, they're so scared, like, people don't like musicals. This, like, you know, test audience doesn't like musicals, whatever. But like, there are like a good amount of people who do like musicals, and I think they should, you know, like, if they cater to that works.
They did it with The Color Purple too.
Yeah, everybody loved The Color. I still haven't seen that yet.
I still haven't seen it either.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're gonna get away from it. But I would like us to transition out of the really poppy musical stuff. Although I know that that's just me because I like classic sounding musical theater.
No, me too. I think I feel like Hollywood is so big on nostalgia. But that's one element of nostalgia that they don't tap because that's an older audience. I get it.
It's a niche.
It is a niche, but if you have a niche oh man, I had a specific example of a movie that was the FNAF movie, smash hit. That was they were just banking that the FNAF fans would go out and see this movie, and they did. And now every Blumhouse movie you're going to see is going to say from the creators of Five Nights at Freddy's. And that goes to show you that's a niche audience that they took a gamble on, and it was so successful. So I think they need to take a look at and they're going to be more, they're making a Bendy the Ink Machine movie. There's going to be more stuff that. But I think they have to trust these niche audiences a little more. They will see it, and they will see it multiple times.
FNAF had a tiny budget, so just make movies that are lower budget, but because then you'll recoup your not every movie is going to be $1 billion movie.
Exactly.
And not everyone's going to go see them. What was I going to say? I had something. It was about musicals.
A musical.
Oh, I would also like them to do more pro shots, like what we saw Waitress, and that was good.
Oh yeah. I think that's probably what people would have wanted more than a Mean Girls reboot is just a pro shot. And it exists. They have it. There are official clips of them doing Sexy on Broadway. Pro shot. Just released a pro shot.
Yeah. I remember what I was going to say.
Mm-hmm. You shut up.
I want to watch Journey to Bethlehem because I saw a couple trailers for this when I was seeing other movies where it was the feel-good Bible musical of the year.
It's a musical.
It's a musical. And then there were clips right after Wish came out of, I guess Antonio Banderas is in it, and he sings this, song.
Oh, I did see
and
that.
People it was really this is better than the Wish villain song. So now I kind of want to watch that movie.
That was do you remember that, I forget what it was called. It was an animated Christmas Carol movie with Luke Evans as Scrooge.
Yes.
And they, had this, fantastic number... And I was like, what is this? Yeah, and another, unexpectedly, I didn't see it, but it was a musical. Leo, that movie with...
That's a musical?
Yeah! The Adam Sandler Iguana movie.
I would have watched it sooner if I knew it was a musical.
Exactly! It was still bad, I heard. But, I think the songs were, fine, but it's they just make these movies and it's surprise, it's a musical. And
we don't have to talk much about it, but Vivo... Another recent, granted animated musical from our friend Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yeah.
Not our friend.
Friend of the pod.
I liked that one.
I saw half of it because I came in the middle of it. That was fine.
I just want more musicals, which I know is never going to happen.
But we'll see. Maybe the success of movies like Wonka and Mean Girls will have more musicals.
Maybe this is a little risque for the podcast, but
we're not at St. Joe's anymore.
Yes. I never got a chance to see it, but I saw some movie came out called Dix the Musical.
Yeah, it was A24's first musical,
which I kind of want to see that too.
Yeah, and it has Megan Thee Stallion in it, and it also has Nathan Lane. I did hear about that. I was excited about it, but I think it was okay. I heard, but I would go watch it. But that's sort of I feel that's good for something A24. Everyone's if it's A24, I'm gonna go see it. So they can easily sell something called Dix the Musical.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if we have any final thoughts, but it's been a little over an hour, so we can probably wrap up. Yeah. But yeah, I think the main takeaways, because all of Hollywood is listening to this, be more...
If anyone from Hollywood ever listened to this, we'd be blacklisted from the industry because we shit talk so much.
Oh boy. Unless it's Marvel, then they're probably come promote a movie for us.
Yeah.
But I think they should be a little more honest in their marketing when it comes to movie musicals. And just embrace it more. Like, don't be scared of it. I think there are people who like these movies that have music numbers in them. Just like go with it, and that goes for Hollywood and the audience too. I think you just gotta like, not and like you said about Wonka. There aren't a lot of just like pure feel good movies. Just sit and like feel good. It doesn't have to like be super gritty and realistic and like sad. It could just like be a fun little movie.
Yeah, and
that's okay.
What do you think will be the next regular movie made into a musical movie? That is not Broadway.
That is not
from Broadway.
Well, that's tough. What's like an iconic? It's gonna be like Bridesmaids or something. Something like that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like iconic like early 2000s movies that like everybody like quotes all the time and stuff. I think Bridesmaids or like that's the only one. I've never seen Bridesmaids.
I could see Barbie being turned into a Broadway musical and then in like 15 years being turned into a movie.
Oh god. I think Barbie is good as a one-off. Like, don't make a Ken sequel. Don't make more
Alan.
Barbie
I want an
movies.
Alan movie. No, I don't know. Audience, tell us what movie do you want to see turned badly into a musical?
Yeah, let us know. Yeah. But I think that's going to be about it for this episode. Yes. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Make sure to stream us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and make sure to rate 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. But yeah, thank you for listening, and we will see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Bye.